You felt it from the very first snap, that electric energy that turned your living room into a stadium. For a few glorious minutes, the Chiefs looked like a machine. The defense struck like thunder. The offense moved with surgical precision, and it felt like we were going to run away with this Thanksgiving classic. But football hides a cruel truth. Momentum is a ghost. It shifts without warning. After that lightning-fast 7-0 start, the field tilted silently. Small cracks became fissures. The Cowboys, sensing blood, began to deliver precise, punishing blows. The roar of Arrowhead turned to tension, then silence, and then the final reality check. Cowboys 31, Chiefs 28. This wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse. The official analysis paints a brutal picture. A drive that crossed midfield 4 times yielding 0 points. A phantom penalty erasing a massive Xavier-worthy play. And a defense that allowed Dallas to convert third down after third down 9 times in total. Individually, these are mistakes. Together, they are a wall we couldn't climb. But the real story isn't the score. It's the cost. The injuries didn't just happen. They fell like dominoes. First, Bryan Cook, the communicator of our secondary, went down with an ankle injury. And suddenly, the coverage calls fell apart. Then, the trenches. Jawaan Taylor left with a triceps injury, and the right side of the line crumbled. Finally, the heartbreaker. Rookie Josh Simmons went down with a wrist injury that left Patrick Mahomes with only 2 starting linemen, Creed Humphrey and Kingsley Suamataia, against a pass rush that smelled fear. No quarterback can survive that. Mahomes tried his magic, but magic doesn't work when the pocket dies before the route is born. To make matters worse, the connection between Dak Prescott and his new weapon, George Pickens, torched our secondary, along with CeeDee Lamb. They combined for over 200 yards, exposing every communication breakdown caused by Cook's absence. The consequences: the Chiefs have now fallen behind the Chargers, Bills, and Jaguars in the standings. The margin for error is 0. Next week, against the Texans, isn't just a game. It is a battle for our season's life. The dynasty is wounded. But are we dead? Mahomes is still standing. But he can't carry a broken line and a silent defense alone. I want to know, do you believe this team has one more run in them? Yes or no? Leave it in the comments. And subscribe to Total Chiefs News. We ride through the storm together. Hail Chiefs! A Thanksgiving nightmare at Arrowhead. The Chiefs fall to the Cowboys 31-28. But the scoreboard is the least of our problems. Today, we are breaking down the 3 factors that are threatening to derail the entire 2025 season. First, the injury report is catastrophic. We lost Bryan Cook ankle, Jawaan Taylor triceps, and rookie tackle Josh Simmons wrist, all in one game, with Andy Reid offering no timetable for their return. We are looking at a scenario where Mahomes faces the Houston Texans with 3 backup offensive linemen against that Houston pass rush that is a recipe for disaster. Second, the discipline evaporated. The Chiefs were flagged 10 times for 119 yards. Trent McDuffie was hit with 3 penalties alone, including a 32-yarder that gifted Dallas points. You cannot survive giving up 119 free yards and allowing the Cowboys to convert 9 out of 16 third downs. The defense simply couldn't get off the field. Finally, the George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb duo exposed our secondary, combining for 200 yards. This loss drops Kansas City behind the Bills, Chargers, and Jaguars in the playoff race. We are no longer fighting for the 1 seed. We are fighting to stay relevant. The Texans are next, and they thrive on chaos. If we don't fix the communication issues in the secondary and stabilize this offensive line, the playoffs might slip away. What is your confidence level heading into Week 14? Let me know below. And subscribe to Total Chiefs News for daily updates. An explosion on the field, but this time, it is an explosion of concern, not celebration. I'm going to ask you straight, without beating around the bush. Has the Kansas City Chiefs officially entered the biggest crisis of the Patrick Mahomes era? It feels surreal to even say it. The offense is clicking. Mahomes is making magic. Kels is finding the end zone. Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown are putting up numbers. But for the first time, the ship that was considered indestructible has a crack in the hull. Look at the scoreboard. The Chiefs are sitting at 6-6. We have entered the critical phase of the season, performing at a level Mahomes has never experienced this late in the year. It's a strange, deadly feeling. We are watching a mythological team turn mortal right before our eyes. It's not that the talent isn't there. The problem lies in about 10 plays per game. 10 small earthquakes that change the outcome. A silly interference. A wasted possession. A defensive lapse. And that brings us to Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys. It was the perfect storm. We saw George Pickens turn into the villain of the night, changing the rhythm of the entire stadium with that one massive run. We saw CeeDee Lamb doing what he does, and we saw a revitalized Cowboys defense led by Quinnen Williams, a wall we couldn't break. The result? A loss that hurts more than just the standings. We are now floating in the dangerous waters of the AFC wildcard race. We've lost to the Bills, the Jaguars, the Chargers, and now we are looking up at the Broncos in the division. The hegemony of the last decade is trembling. Playing well, but losing is the silent nightmare of dying dynasties. So I have to ask you, Chiefs Kingdom, are we witnessing just a passing turbulence? Or is this the beginning of the end? Does this team still have that cinematic explosion left in the tank? Or does the road to the Super Bowl no longer run through Arrowhead? Comment below. I know half of you will agree, and half will hate it. But we need to talk. This is the biggest test we have ever faced. Panic mode in Kansas City. The Chiefs dropped to 6-6 after a heartbreaking loss to the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And for the first time in the Mahomes era, the playoffs are not a guarantee. Let's look at the reality. The offense isn't the problem. Mahomes, Kels, Rice, and Hollywood Brown are all scoring. The problem is situational football. We are seeing 10 plays of failure every single week, turnovers, bad clock management, and defensive breakdowns. On Thanksgiving, the Cowboys exposed every crack in this team. George Pickens looked like a meteor, creating separation and drawing a controversial but game-sealing pass interference on Jalen Watson. Meanwhile, the Dallas defense, energized by the addition of Quinnen Williams, shut the door when it mattered most. The Chiefs had chances. They forced a turnover early. They moved the ball, but they failed in the micro details that define championship teams. Here is the scary part. The AFC West is slipping away. The Broncos are 9-2. The Chargers have the tiebreaker. The Chiefs are now fighting for their lives in a crowded wild card race against teams they have already lost to, the Bills and the Jaguars. The margin for error is gone. Yes, the upcoming schedule has some winnable games against the Raiders and Titans, but at 6-6, nothing is guaranteed. The dynasty is on the ropes. Can Spags fix the defense? Can Mahomes carry this team one more time? Let me know your confidence level from 1 to 10 in the comments. Are the Kansas City Chiefs done? We are sitting at 6-6. We just lost on Thanksgiving to the Cowboys. The Broncos are winning the division. This is officially the biggest crisis of Patrick Mahomes' career. And the crazy part? The offense is good. Mahomes is throwing TDs. Kels is scoring. Hollywood Brown is eating. But the defense and the situational football are disasters. We are losing games because of 5 or 10 bad plays a week. George Pickens absolutely cooked us on Thanksgiving. Quinnen Williams walled us off. And now, we are fighting just to make a wild card spot. The dynasty is hanging by a thread. Do you think we make the playoffs? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments. An explosion on the field. You can feel the vibration in the air before the story even begins. Among the legends and the rings that define this new Kansas City Chiefs era, there is a hidden moment, a silent memory, that reveals exactly what makes Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, just before this crucial Week 13 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, Patrick stopped in front of the microphones and pulled a forgotten thread from his past. He wasn't talking about Super Bowls. He was talking about a failure. He took us back to his freshman year at Texas Tech, AT&T Stadium, the bright lights of Jerry World. He was just a kid trying to prove he belonged. They were getting steamrolled by Baylor, but true to his nature, he rallied them back. It all came down to a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Close your eyes and picture it. The snap. The pressure explodes. A fraction of a second of hesitation, and then the sack, the silence, the weight of the loss. But it was what happened after that fall that changed NFL history. In the locker room, Cliff Kingsbury looked him in the eye and said, "It's a 2-point play. You have to throw the ball or do something simple." Rah. A lesson learned in the fire. That was the day the quarterback, who never lets a play die, was born. While Mahomes reconnected with his football instinct, Hall of Famer Leroy Butler reconnected with the heart of this team. In a new interview with Chiefs Wire, Butler shared a gem about Andy Reid that you won't find on a stat sheet. He said the only way to truly annoy Andy is to tell him Tom Selleck has a better mustache than him. It's funny, but it reveals the humanity behind the genius. Butler admitted he is rooting for the Chiefs' three-peat, not for history, but because he loves the man in charge. Outro. From a painful sack in 2014 to a mustache joke in 2025. These stories are the invisible pillars of this dynasty. The question is, will these lessons be enough to ignite the brilliance we need against Dallas? I want to know what you think. Does revisiting the past pave the way for the future? Comment below, leave a like, and subscribe. The journey is only just beginning. Welcome back to the channel as we head into Week 13 against the Dallas Cowboys. We have two massive stories that reveal the DNA of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes just revealed the specific college failure that created his playstyle, and Leroy Butler drops a hilarious truth about Andy Reid. First up, Mahomes opened up about his return to AT&T Stadium. He recalled a game against Baylor during his freshman year at Texas Tech. On a critical two-point conversion, Mahomes hesitated and took a sack. He revealed that his coach, Cliff Kingsbury, told him bluntly, "You have to throw the ball or do something." Mahomes took that to heart. That specific failure is why, years later, we never see him accept a sack without a fight. That moment built the Mahomes magic. Switching gears to the sidelines, Packers legend Leroy Butler sat down with Ed Easton Jr. on Chiefs Wire to talk about Andy Reid. Butler didn't just praise Reid's coaching, he humanized him. He joked that the only way to get under Reid's skin is to say Tom Selleck has a better mustache. Butler also mentioned he was rooting for the Chiefs' three-peat purely out of love for Reid as a leader. It's a great reminder that this dynasty is built on character as much as talent. Outro: two stories, one theme. The Chiefs are built on resilience and connection. Are we finally seeing the circle close as past and present meet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And hit that subscribe button for daily Chiefs updates. Did you know Patrick Mahomes' entire playstyle comes from one specific failure? Before facing the Cowboys this week, Mahomes told the story of his freshman year at Texas Tech. He had a two-point conversion to tie the game against Baylor. He hesitated. He took a sack. He lost the game. In the locker room, his coach Cliff Kingsbury told him, "You have to throw the ball or do something." That was the moment everything changed. That is why Mahomes extends plays today. He refuses to let that moment happen again. Meanwhile, Hall of Famer Leroy Butler just revealed the only way to make Andy Reid mad. Tell him Tom Selleck has a better mustache. Butler says he wants the Chiefs to win the three-peat just because he loves Andy Reid. Are we watching the greatest QB/coach duo in history? Comment yes. If you believe in the dynasty, go Chiefs.